Hey, welcome, Carm Capriato with Remarkable Results Radio's episode 481. Now, how much more work can you handle in your shop? Are you prepared for fleet work? David, Saline, and I will go over how to break in and or improve your fleet business.
That's the first mistake a lot of shops go is they go in, I'm going to give you 10% off labor and 10% off parts.
Welcome, aftermarketers, to Remarkable Results Radio. Listen to learn just one thing from today's episode on your journey to remarkable results. Hi, friends. Carm Capriato here, the Aftermarket Podcast guy with the original Aftermarket Podcast. Now, think about the content library. Now, if you've been with us since the beginning or just joined as a dedicated listener, you must be amazed at the variety of topics, people, trends, and insights we've covered. In fact, I get asked all the time to recommend a podcast or two that will dive into solving a pain point or issue for my listener. Now, one thing I know for sure, you cannot pigeonhole our content because it's so diverse and it speaks to so many opportunities and challenges that exist in the industry. So glad you're here in witness to conversations worth hearing. Hey, have I told you how proud we are to partner with Napa Auto Care in the 2020 Napa Expo? Now, are you going to Expo 2020? We'll join Napa, including suppliers, industry experts, and your peers in Las Vegas, April 6th through 9th, 2020. Now, it's where you'll discover the latest news and industry information, the stuff to move your business to new levels. Contact your Napa store for the details on how to enroll. Hey, are you ready to talk fleets? Ever think that you'd love to welcome fleet business into your shop? Do you have the facility, space, equipment, time, people to dive into fleet work? Well, David Saline, VP of Sales at Drive, is a proven industry leader in the automotive truck repair business. This episode's talking points and David Saline's bio are at remarkableresults.biz/E481. Don't hesitate to reach out to me with a show idea, a trend we need to discuss, or ask me to recommend a podcast to help you with a pain point, as I said earlier. Reach me at carm@remarkableresults.biz. You can also find a quick link on my insider email for my email or all over the website. There's buttons to press to email me. Hey, fleet's a growth strategy only if you and your people in shop is equipped to take the challenge head on. David says it's easy to start small, and he shares how to break into a fleet, and he also gives you the blueprint on what to say and do on your first cold call visit. This episode sheds light on how to start, build, and grow your fleet business. Hey, a warm welcome to David Saline, VP of Sales at Drive. Hello, David.
Hello, Carm. How's everybody doing today?
Great. I love Drive's, if you will, signature line. It says, power your shop, fuel your freedom.
Correct. We're all about taking a shop owner to the next level, improving their profits, and also giving them the opportunity to have more free time and spend with their family.
Oh, man. It's got to be on our wish list. I mean, with the top of the list. In fact, we don't even share that with our spouses. We dream about it, but we never say, hon, we need to spend more time together. Wow, that's tough.
Well, that's a thing that I see very common, and even myself as a shop owner had that. We get ourselves wrapped up in our business so much that we forget that we have lives outside that business that we got to attend to too.
So let me tell everyone that we're here to talk about fleets, and I saw about an hour of a presentation that you did at an Napa conference in Biloxi, Mississippi. And I walked up to you. I'm not sure if we met before, but I said, Dave, you got to come on the podcast and share with everyone your strategies on growing fleet business. So here you are.
Yes, it's an honor to be here with you today, Carm. And like I said, there's some simple steps that a person can take if you want to grow your fleet business. And it's not the traditional marketing or the traditional actions you do to get a regular customer into the door. You're dealing with professional buyers.
I know. And sometimes it's very nerve-wracking to be a shop owner and walk in an environment and get all nervous and jerky about it and stumble. And I think you're here to tell us, well, there's a process and a way to do it.
Yeah, there's definitely a process to do it. It's nothing to be nervous about. These guys can be really great customers, and they can add a lot of value to your business too. You just got to show your value to them when you walk through there.
So first off, I guess we need to do an assessment. can our facility do the work that we're out hunting for?
Exactly. That's one of the first things I would tell a shop is how much more work can you efficiently handle in your shop? Are you prepared for a fleet? If you're going for a fleet that has 4 to 5 vehicles, probably not going to be a big impact on your workflow. But if you go for a fleet that has 50 or 100 vehicles that could be bringing 5 to 6 jobs a day into your shop, are you prepared to handle them and get them out in time? Because a fleet's number one concern is how much downtime are these vehicles have on them. Or if they're in the shop, that means they're not making money.
So let's clarify something in the beginning here. You said a small fleet, 4 or 5 vehicles, and then you said 50, 60. Would the 50, 60 be medium or large?
Those are probably medium fleets in your area, but for an independent shop owner to land a contract like that, that's a big contract. You're now servicing 50 to 100 vehicles. Some fleets out there have thousands and thousands of vehicles in their fleet. But in your area, most of them, somewhere between 50 and 100 trucks or vehicles are in their fleet at that time.
So if I came to you and I said, hey, David, I'm going to start doing some fleet business, you would probably say, start small.
Yes, start with the smaller fleets first. Those are your biggest opportunities out there. There's actually many companies that you can use to even find out who the fleets are in your area. FleetSeek is one of them that I know they're partnered with Napa and stuff, but you can get a list from them of every fleet in your area, from how many vehicles they have, what type of vehicles they have in their fleet, who the contact person, who's their fleet maintenance director. It gives everything in that particular report that you get from them. And you start with the fleets that have, I always tell everybody, 5 to 20 vehicles, because those are the guys that are ignored by the dealerships and aren't big enough to have their own personal mechanic on staff.
Excellent thought. Now, you said FleetSeek is an option, and I remember doing an interview, maybe a year and a half ago now, we were talking fleets, and one of the strategies of one of the shop owners was to go hang out at the local, filling station, where people buy gas, and just park, buy yourself a coffee, and start taking pictures of the sides of the vehicles and the names and the logos, and you'd probably say, I never knew that they were just down the road. And, you find a lot of, like you say, small fleets that have salespeople's cars and a few delivery vehicles, and they're out there. They're everywhere, and they're probably seeking and looking for a place they could trust to do their work.
Correct. And one of the things that you got to remember that most fleets that you see out on the roads, especially in that 5 to 20 range vehicles on there, they don't, the transportation is not their business. They have a product they're selling. They're selling a product that they are trying to move, produce, office supplies, whatever it is. It's just a necessary evil that they have to get into the fleet business and have their own trucks to deliver their product. So most of them aren't thinking of how to really properly maintain a fleet or how to take care of that fleet. It's just a side product to what their normal business is.
What a novel idea. David, reliable and consistent, transportation to sell the product that I'm actually make money on, and you can step up to the plate and help them with that. Okay, so I'm going to do my homework here and figure out who this fleet is, where they're located. Do I make a phone call? Do I do a cold call? How do I walk in and introduce myself?
Well, there's a couple things that I'd recommend on it. The first thing is to have somebody do a cold call and introduce your company to them. Find out who the point of contact is, who do they need to be talking to, because it could be different people within these fleets that actually take care of the fleet. And like I said, most of the people that are doing the maintenance directors for some of these smaller fleets, they're also a salesman or they have another office job. They're not focused on taking care of the fleet. So you have to find out who you talk to first.
And they would probably welcome anything you could do. I remember hearing just recently about a great daily inspection sheet that the maintenance provider provided, and it actually improved their level of reliability and the maintenance of the vehicles.
Correct. It's very doing daily inspections on them or annual inspections, weekly inspections on the vehicle. That's one great way to get your foot into the door and introduce yourself that you have those services available. And one thing when you're talking to somebody that you haven't talked to before, there's some questions you can ask them. One is, what's the cost per mile to operate that vehicle? Bigger fleets that are nationwide fleets know that number down to the penny. And the smaller fleets that's not even a consideration in their mind. How much is it costing me to operate this vehicle and keep it maintained?
And I bet you they'd love to know that.
And well, that's a piece about it is that if you want to land these fleets, you got to become kind of their business consultant on how to maintain their vehicle. You're now their consultant. You're going to do reports to them, show them what their cost per mile is, ask them how much have you been spending on maintenance for it right now? How many miles do you drive it in this period of time? And figure out that cost per mile for them. And don't go in and promise them that you can reduce that right away. Do your homework and make sure that you can effectively say we can bring it down, or we can help you keep that number to the industry standards.
Not every shop owner that I know is a great salesperson. Their best trait is being a wrench. And now they're a shop owner and they want to grow their business. And so now we've figured out who to go talk to. We're getting ready to go see them. And now I've got to go out and do a cold call. Hell, you talk to a professional salesman and cold calls are one of their biggest fears anyway.
Well, and there's some steps that you can take to make that cold call more successful. One of the things is that, one, if you made contact with them before on the phone and set an appointment with them. Second thing is that after I had set an appointment with them, I made that cold call just on the phone, set an appointment with them. I'd send them some email promotion or even possibly mail promotion to get them more familiar with your business. Okay. Let's get acquainted. Here's some information about us. Give them their due diligence and their time as a fleet director to know who you are and what you are capable of doing for them. Got it.
So what do I take to that first meeting?
Well, in the first meeting, there's a couple things that I recommend. First thing is I tell everybody, walk in with some kind of food. Donuts, cookies, everything like that works really good. The reason why is if you walk in with a box of donuts and ask to talk to a fleet director, you're most likely going to get passed up the line because nobody wants to turn down that free box of donuts you just brought in.
So let me tell you my donut story. Can I tell you that?
Sure.
Long time ago, I was going to buy some donut boxes with my company name and logo on it. And as I was talking to the company that made these boxes, says, hey, I'm going to tell you a secret, even if you don't buy the boxes from me. And that is to put a sugar-coated jelly donut in the box. And I said, and so why would that be? And they said, it was, in their recent survey, now this is going back a few years, the least favorite donut. And it made the box have staying power. So if my sticker or logo was on the box, usually within a few hours afterwards, there's still the sugar-coated jelly donut. And so somebody walks by, a competitor or whoever, and lifts the top of the lid to see what's going on. Maybe I'll have a donut. They see, it's a sugar-coated jelly donut. I don't want to take the last one. And so the box could live for 8 hours in the shop and have that exposure.
Correct. That's a great strategy on there. And the same thing that goes with that is one of the things you just brought up is putting your own custom labels on the box. Put your shop's name on the box. It doesn't take much to print a label out and stick a sticker label onto a box of donuts advertising your business. And it sits around on the desk for half the day, if not better, when that everybody in the fleet sees that. It's just free advertisement when you do that.
No doubt food is a way to the heart.
Yeah. So things that, on top of food, what I usually do is do a professional printed, what I would call a press book. It tells you, it has a lot of information about your shop, almost spiral bounded or stitch bounded book. Make it a very professional and thick book. Tells about, your employees, the services you offer, a lot about your shop, what community services stuff you do, showcase your shop in this book. But I tell everybody, stay away from the flyers when you drop something off the first time, because a piece of paper laying on a fleet director's desk is most likely to end up in a trash can. But if it's a nice printed professional book, it'll sit there. They're afraid to throw it away. It's too nice to throw away.
Okay, so you're saying, David, that I really need to have this before I really even start? I got to have a press book?
I would have that in hand before you make your first visit and everything. That's the first time you step in, because most fleet directors, it's a get to know them kind of area there.
All right.
You may not be able to talk business on the first time you visit with them. So you want to drop something off that gives them a lot of value and a lot of information about your business.
Because you're really there on a fact-finding mission.
Correct. They're wanting to see if they want to do business with you. They've most likely already have somebody that they're doing business with. So you're not there to replace them right away. You're there to be an alternative for them.
And this is a leave behind piece, a quality that it won't disappear, especially knowing that maybe you got a second appointment at that time during your face-to-face. And even if you didn't, it will keep you top of mind when the next phone call and the next engagement gets there. So I get all of that. Now, it's a press book. Can you give me some ideas of what should be in it?
First thing you want to talk about is you want to put, the front cover should be a nice professional photo of your shop, your business hours, and location and phone number on it. As you get into the book, you're going to have things about what services you offer, some bios about your employees and what certifications they hold, what certifications your shop holds. You want to have, specials. Maybe you do some year-round specials or something like that, or you specialize in a certain type of work. You want to showcase that. Also, it's really good to have, customer reviews in there. If you have some customers that write up some nice review letters, we get them all the time in our shop, thank you cards and reviews. Publish those into the book. Also put in what other fleets and stuff you're doing business with right now. Showcase who you actually are working and partnered with. ASC certifications. If you're Napa or any kind of affiliations with a parts store or anything like that, you want to put all that into that press book on what stuff you got, what kind of warranties you offer on the work you perform. So even special tooling capabilities that we work on specific type systems, that would be nice to have in there. Yeah, like if you just bought a new alignment machine, state-of-the-art alignment machine, you want to showcase that, hey, we got this state-of-the-art alignment machine that and have the best guy here. Here's our alignment guy. Here's all of his certifications, and here's the tools that he'll be using to do this job. If I do community events, pictures of those events going on at my place, or, the shop owner's picture with the mayor and stuff like that, important? Important, very important. Yeah, if you're in, there's Rotary clubs and there's business development groups that people belong to. There's all kinds of community charities that you do. If you're a part of any of those, showcase your shop. This is a promotional piece to showcase how valuable you are to that fleet and to the community that you're serving. Hey, it's Carm here. Today, I have a special message for Napa Auto Care Centers who are looking to take the next step in growing their business and partnership. Now, if you're ready to strive and take it to the next level, Napa invites you to consider Gold Certification. Gold Certification is a premier tier of Napa Auto Care that recognizes repair shops with a higher level of participation in the Auto Care program. The program was built by Auto Care Centers for Auto Care Centers to provide a consistent consumer experience, maximize technology leverage, and reward Napa's most committed partners. When consumers visit a Gold Certified Auto Care Center, whether it's a small facility in a rural community or a multi-bay shop in a large metropolitan area, they can expect a first-class service repair experience. This includes a well-trained staff using today's technology and quality Napa parts in a comfortable, up-to-date facility. Customers at Gold-certified shops will also enjoy an extended parts and labor warranty, valuable saving opportunities, along with access to credit to pay for needed repairs, and a whole lot more. Here's what you need to qualify for the program. First, you need to be an active auto care partner for at least 12 months and have a steady business presence in your market for at least 2 years. Then to become Gold Certified, it's necessary to meet specific requirements, but chosen because they create the most consistent consumer experience and proven to generate the most significant results for auto care centers across the country. Some of these include using digital vehicle inspection, having at least one ASE Master Certified technician, a co-branded exterior, and offer consumer financing through Napa Easy Pay. You must also be an active member of a business development group. Once your shop achieves Gold Certification, you'll receive a number of benefits, including priority placement on Napa's shop locator pages, an allowance for marketing funds, 3636 peace of mind and local labor coverage, access to auto tech training, Napa Track's shop management system, Smart Sign digital menu board, and more. Talk with your servicing Napa store to find out everything you need to know about becoming a Gold Certified shop.
So no basic rule, but stuff the book, and I don't mean stuff it with stuff and junk, but pertinent, relative information that showcases the commitment you have to repair employee community and make it look pretty sharp.
Yeah, just you want to show all the years of experience and knowledge that you got is all put into this book, and showing why they should select you as a shop.
Great first impression.
Yeah, and the other thing is, on specials and discounts and stuff on that repairs, one of the things that I'd recommend is don't go in with a handful of discounts and repairs when you walk in. If that's the first mistake a lot of shops go, is they go in, I'm going to give you 10% off labor and 10% off parts, trying to land this fleet. That's comes later when you're negotiating the deal with them. But if you go in handing them that discount when you first walk in, you just cut your profits out of your shop, and they might not necessarily even need that.
Let's talk about an intro strategy. I've got the press book in my hand, and I've shaken the hand of the owner of the small fleet, and I would probably think, because the next words out of my mouth would be, "Oh, let me tell you about my company," and then I start walking through the pages of the book. I would think in my mind, David, that would be wrong. It would be better to get the prospect talking, right?
Correct. That's as we teach over here at Drive and everything else, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Listen twice as much as you talk. And the first thing that you should do when you go in there is look around, be observant, see what photos are on the wall, see what's sitting on his desk, if they or she or he or whatever, if they're into fishing, if they're into sports, or they're into, kids. You see a lot of times parents that are support the Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or something. Find something to start conversation with them and talk to them, and keep it light. Don't go straight into business right away. Find something that you guys have in common with each other that you can talk about.
Get them talking. Find a common thread, like you say, and then you may have somebody say, "Well, so tell me about your business, Dave," and then you have a chance, because you've got the press book, to walk through the story.
Well, yeah, usually with the press book, what I tell everybody, that's not something that you can walk them through it, but it's not something that you really want to just start showcasing stuff.
Right.
You want to take a light touch to it. Usually there's 3 questions when you get to that point where you have a good conversation going. There's 3 important questions you should ask the fleet owner. One is, where do you get your work done now? And then you follow that up with, what do you like the most about them? And if there was one thing you could change about them, what would it be?
Those are great questions. Wow. And you got to sit on your hands and wait for an answer, right?
Yeah, don't wait for them to answer that on there. Sometimes they may not tell you where they're getting their work done, or they may not feel comfortable with it. That's okay. But ask them, what do you like the most about them? What was one thing you would change about them? Because right there just gave you what you have to do and what you have to perform as a shop. You know what they like about a shop, and you know what they would like to see better about a shop. And that's where your time to shine now is, if you can actually deliver what they want to see better about that shop, that's where you're going to showcase yourself, is on that point. And
mercy me, don't offer a discount if they're not looking for one, because what you can do better for them is just maybe be on time with your promise times, and discount is not needed.
Correct. And, that's the thing about it. Shop owners work so hard and they're so committed. They wear their hearts on their sleeves. And the first thing that they offer to get new work is discounts on there. And, it's only money. It's the shop owner's money. That's what it comes down to on there. But we're not in a business where everybody wants discounts. The reason price and discounts come up in these talks is that's because that's the only thing people know to talk about. They don't know how to get into the mechanics of why the vehicles are important to be running. How much money can we save you by having a vehicle that's not broke down? How much does routine maintenance improve your fleet's dependability? Those are the topics that you should be addressing with them before you even approach an idea of a discount.
Cool idea. So, okay, I don't offer discounts. I discover the need and or the likes of this prospect, and the call is done. And I feel good about it, and I'm on my way back, and I'm thinking, ooh, so when should I follow up on this?
Well, there's a couple different follow-ups that I'd recommend. One thing is you should have took good notes. If you didn't take notes during your meeting, as soon as you walk out of that door at that meeting, sit down, scratch out on a notepad what the results of those questions you asked were. What are they looking for? What do they want to see improved in a shop? And then most shops, and my shop included, would have 5 or 6 different promo pieces already sitting on the shelf back at the office, depending on what they needed. They needed faster turnaround times. So guess what? As soon as I got back to the office, a handwritten thank you note went out to that fleet director or owner. And it's thank you for taking the time to meet with me today. A little personal touch about the note on there. And then there would be a promotional flyer that would be attached with it. Maybe it was, let's get acquainted. Here's a 5% discount for your first visit or something like that. And, when we're talking about discounts on there, the other thing is when you get boxed in a corner when a fleet asks you got to give me a discount on it. Usually the best answer you can give them right now is, we're always willing to negotiate discounts and stuff, but it also depends on how much usage of our facility you do. So, let's start getting some work into the door over here, and then we can discuss how much we can save you.
That's a great strategy. Okay, shall I send some food back on a follow-up?
The big mistake people make is on their follow-up visits. They just say, I was in the area, so I thought I'd stop by and see you. Always schedule the appointments. And if you become the guy that brings in half a dozen or a dozen donuts every time you stop in, you're more likely to get more face-to-face time with that fleet director, and they're going to spend time with you. So, the cost of a box of donuts, a few dollars versus getting 5-6 vehicles a week coming into your shop, I don't think that's a question. You should always take some kind of food back. Now, I always tell everybody it's relative to the time of the day too. If donuts are usually good in the morning, I've used Little Caesar pizzas, the $5 pizzas. If you walk in at lunch, what's $10 worth of pizzas cost you to take a couple pizzas to the office over there? Afternoons, if you use more like cookies and stuff like that, are better in the afternoons for a snack.
I'm hungry.
Well, the good thing about it is that nobody turns down stuff when you're actually bringing gifts to them.
And every time I go to a conference and they bring out that 3:00, oatmeal raisin macadamia nut cookie tray, I always tell myself earlier in the day that I'm not going to eat them. And you know what happens, David?
You end up eating them.
And then I hate myself in the morning. You're right about the cookies, yeah.
And like I said, if you have the other part of it is being involved with your community too. Think about this too. If you have a local baker in there and you start using them quite a bit, they're going to give you better deals when you order in bulk rates when you're going out. So plan your sales strategies where you have a route that you're setting out and you have so much time for each person to sit and you know what kind of order of food you need to do the day before. Okay, somebody's listening and they say, I love everything that you guys talked about. This is wonderful stuff. I've been thinking about doing fleets. I need to do more of fleets, whatever the situation is, but it's just not me. I'm not built to do this. What do you recommend? Well, I'll recommend this on any position for a shop owner, and this even goes to your outside sales. If it's a position that's not you or that you don't want to do, then hire somebody to do that for you. It can be very effective. And when you set up an outside salesperson, the idea is to set them on a low base pay and then set them a bonus plan based on how much work they generate for the shop. Okay. Sounds simple. Good option. What if my service advisor, service manager, really good with people, outgoing, gregarious, knows the shop in and out, said, hey, give me a shot. Well, you back him up on the counter for a few hours and you let him or her go out. Is it a recommendation? Correct. Yeah. If you got somebody within your organization already that can do that work, set them the time up and back them up so that they can go out and do it. It's just important to get somebody out there in front of these guys if you're looking to get the fleet business in. Good. Whether it's you, a manager, a service advisor, or an outside salesperson, if you get good at the fleet work and get enough in, you can keep a full-time outside salesperson out all day long. Good. Now, I know you've got a ton of clients and you're out all over the country working with them and speaking and training. Think back to some of the customers that you have, David, that took the leap and decided to make this. Any great story to share with us? Well, I have worked with several shops across the nation. There's one in particular, and to give you an idea how big fleet work and setting up the right maintenance program with these guys, and we can talk about that here in a minute on the maintenance program.
Yeah.
But I watched this shop go from doing $40,000 a month in sales to doing over about a 3-year period of really growing their fleet business, doing $500,000 a month in sales. So when you put that numbers down, that they went from, just under $1 million a year to almost $5 million a year in total sales in their shop.
What's the fleet percentage?
Most of that was they actually probably 80% of that was in the shop, and 80% of it was fleet maintenance done at the fleet's yards. They went from 4 employees and then put. I think they're up to 13 techs now that are doing mobile services at the fleet yard.
Got it. So it's a new business plan for them.
It's a new business plan where they started getting into just trying to get the fleets into their shop, and then found a demand that, hey, we can get a lot more of this if we actually go to the fleet's yard.
I love to hear those stories of nimbleness. I see the need and how can I fill it, and what a great story. $500,000 a month.
Well, you think about it in a shop right now, it's kind of like I've heard it said, thinking inside the box and outside the box, and being able to adapt to what your customers want and need is probably one of the best growth strategies you can have for your shop. If you find a niche that nobody's in, take advantage of it, because somebody will eventually.
You mentioned maintenance a while back. Critical to make that part of the strength that you bring to a fleet?
Correct. When you go to a fleet, one of the best things you can offer, instead of offering discounts, offer them a maintenance program. Set it up. If you know what type of vehicles they have, like I said, if you use those services and find out that what type of vehicle they have, you have an estimation of how many miles they put on it. Say, okay, look, we're going to have to come in. We're going to put this vehicle on a fleet maintenance program. We're going to come in and do the service on it, inspect the vehicle and everything else for this amount of money each month. And then any additional repairs we find and everything, we'll go through an authorization process with you to get those repairs done. Now, some fleets, depending on the fleet, if you build that relationship correctly with them, they'll give you okay, just fix everything under $500 on the vehicle when you do your maintenance program. If it's under this amount of money, just fix it, because we want the vehicle operational and to run.
Are there any fleet-only 20 groups in the country at all, do you know?
There's here at Drive, we do have some 20 groups that I think I say fleet only, because there's not a lot of shops that do just fleet. They do general public and fleet, but we do have a 20 group here at Drive that does address that.
What I kind of meant is that it would be only discussing the fleet side of anyone's business.
I don't know of any right now, Carm, but there's all kinds of 20 groups out there. I'm sure if you Google it, you may find one. I can't say that they're it's possible. Maybe something I need to go back here and Drive and see we need to put together.
Yeah, please do that, will you? I'd love to know that was an idea that I helped spark with you guys. Cool.
Okay.
David Saline, VP of Sales at Drive. Thanks so much for coming in and talking about fleet. Give us your final words.
Fleet business can be really great for your shop if you can handle the work. So if you have the staff and everything to handle it, take some simple actions, go out and get face-to-face with these fleets, because there's a big void on people looking for people to service those fleets right now. And fleet business is going to become very big here in the near future. We got Uber and Lyft and so many Amazon freight companies. These are all going to be big fleets that are out there for the taking right now. So prepare your shop, prepare your staff, and then prepare your sales model to go handle these fleets, because that's where the industry is going.
And if you're small, start small.
Yes, most definitely. Start small with the small fleets and work your way up to the bigger ones. You'll be surprised how much work you can get out of them. And
I don't necessarily have to have a bay door that'll take the big trucks, because there's a lot of small fleets that don't need that.
Exactly. When we start talking, everybody, when we started originally talking fleets, are thinking the big trucks over the road. But think about all the construction companies, the little delivery trucks, a lot of offices now have company cars. You go to an office complex, you go to a big office complex, they may have 5 to 10 company cars that they're using. Government fleets are another one. Your police departments, your city offices, all those guys have government issued fleets. Some of them have maintenance yards, some don't.
I was at a wedding the other night, big, famous restaurant here in my great city of Buffalo, and I pulled into park, and there were the catering vans parked on the side of the road, and there was a little mini fleet from a restaurant chain because they're out doing catering. So there's another opportunity right there.
Yeah, you got those, and then on top of that, you also got stuff like Postmates now delivers food in the bigger cities.
Grubhub,
Grubhub.
All of those. I guess what you're saying is the opportunities could be endless.
Yes, there's so many opportunities out there. Take advantage of them while you can.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on board to listen and learn from the premier automotive aftermarket podcast. Until next time.